Welcome to West Country Wanderings and welcome to another one in my Severn Way series. We're here back in Wales. I'm in the town of Newtown. This is Sabrina Afon Hafren, and today we're going to make our way to the town of Welshpool, which we have visited before briefly. For a lot of the length of today's walk, and it's actually some 23 kilometres, so quite a distance this one. It's going to be less strenuous though, well, so the guidebook tells me so, hopefully, because we're going to be following the Montgomery Canal for quite a bit of the length. We'll be following the river as we leave the town here of Newtown in Paris, making our way to Welshpool. And later on we'll be joining the towpath of the Montgomery Canal. I'll be telling you lots about the Montgomery Canal and the river as we'll make our journey along here today. We'll also be seeing an aqueduct and I think a castle as well, from what the guidebooks are telling me. So it sounds an interesting walk. So I've not done it before, I'm not familiar with the terrain here, so it'd be really interesting to explore it together. So why not join me here on West Country Wanderings for another explore along the Severn Way. So today I've come by car. Last time I came by train, which was fine, apart from the fact it was a bit of a rush getting back because I had a train to catch. In actual fact, when I got back to Newtown railway station, the train had been cancelled. The knock-on effect that was, it meant I missed the last train from Cheltenham into the lower part of Gloucestershire where I live. And the gentleman, GWR gentleman at Cheltenham Spa, kindly arranged a taxi for me to get back home, which was really good. And so thanks to the GWR team at Cheltenham Spa station. Today I've driven here because I know that today is a longer route, it's a longer walk, but hopefully, fingers crossed, less strenuous, should I say, not more strenuous. It's really more strenuous than last time, because that was quite a challenge last time. But yeah, so it's a flatter walk today. I'm making my way by River Severn here. There it is, just down there, probably come into view shortly. We've got the bridge here, so we're going to continue along this route here, and then we cross over the Severn on another footbridge, and then we should be making our way into the glorious Montgomery countryside. So I'll see you in a bit. Yes, I just love these little islands that you get next to the River Severn, by the banks of the River Severn here in Newtown. Remember I did the closing shot, Severn Way 4 on them, but can't get enough of them. But this is probably the last chance, I'll see, because we're going to be going up on a footbridge in a second and making our way out of the town. Now that's obviously the River Severn. I'm standing on the footbridge, just gone across it now, leaving the town. That red bricked building warehouse was the main central warehouse of the Price Jones Emporium, and it has quite an acclaim to fame for this town of Newtown. In fact, we just passed the remains of St Mary's Church, although it's on a high embankment and it's not easy to get to from the Severn Way. Maybe if I get a chance I'll do that on the route back before I drive off before it gets dark. I don't know, I don't have time to do that, but the Price Jones family are buried there. Now, what's all the Price Jones about? Well, if you have ever used your laptop, computer, mobile phone, tablet to order something from Amazon or plenty of the other, eBay, plenty of the other online emporiums, Marks and Spencer's, Etsy, anything else, you will have experienced online shopping. Well, in the days before the internet, we had mail order shopping. And mail order shopping started here in Newtown in Paris in the 1870s. It was followed by a whole plethora of catalogue shopping, which sprung up towards the end of the 19th century, and so it continued. So you could say that internet shopping started here, right in the heart of Newtown in Paris. It's really good to have the river so close to us, just going under a road bridge ahead. Well, not ahead, but yeah, it's above my head. Might be a bit of noise from the traffic there, but again, it's not a very nice bridge, sadly. There's only the one nice bridge. But in talking of bridges, according to my guidebook later on, there are a couple of bridges which are well worth seeing. So stick around for that. If you like your bridges and architecture and industrial archaeology history, then you're certainly in for a treat. So hopefully the guidebooks are right and we can get a good shot of it. So I'm looking forward to that. We've also got an aqueduct on the Montgomery Canal to look forward to, and as I say, that castle is as well. So probably not too much to talk about on this stretch here. Our first village of note, I think it's called Albemarle, and I think it said did it say 8 or 9 kilometres when I crossed over that footbridge there. But I will stop before that. There are some hamlets along the way as well, which is just slightly off the Severn way, and I'll check my timing. So if we've got time, we'll see if we can have an explore of one or two of those as well. So we've got this really nice stretch of the river here as we're leaving Newtown. In fact, this is probably the most continuously long section that I've walked next to the River Severn since we've started the Severn Way, because as we've said, a lot of the route you can't actually get close to the river. Oh, a beautiful bend in here with a cottage. Just insert that now. But absolutely lovely to have the river just right next to us as we're walking. It seems to be quite unique along the Severn Way route. And that's our first sign saying Severn Way since we've left, or just on the very edge of the town. So glad to see at least one sign here. But that's really strange. Sorry about the noise. There's some lorry moving with loose trailers, I think. Now we're coming to a hamlet which has a church. Still the Severn is to my right, but it's behind this hedge now. I think there's a bowling green in there as well. I'll try my best at the pronunciation. I'm going to put the name along the bottom. I think it's pronounced Llanethwytwen. Don't quote me though. That's my best attempt, so don't have a go at me if that's wrong. But I'll just put that in there. The latter part of that name actually looks a bit Scottish, and obviously there's Celtic connections to Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and indeed Cornwall and into Brittany and France. So they are all kind of linked, all of the Celtic nations. At this point, the Severn Way is actually joined by National Cycle Route 81, so it's part of the Newtown Greenway, obviously following the river, and it explains on the sign there. Good sign actually. I'll just insert that now. I'll stick it on the one side of the screen. If I go that side, maybe I can squeeze it on the right. I'll try and fit it in there somewhere anyway, so you can see that. And it's obviously encouraging people to walk and to cycle, which is obviously a really good thing in terms of health benefits. As I say, I don't know what there is in the way of refreshment stops along the route, and when we get to those, or if there are any, I'll certainly include the information. So if you're thinking of doing the Severn Way yourselves, it'd be useful to know that. The thing is with guidebooks is they tend to go out of date quite quickly, and obviously with the pandemic a lot of pubs and cafes have sadly closed. But if there is anything, I'll include that. I am got plenty of water with me today, sandwiches and snacks and fruit and that, so hopefully it should be okay, and I can stock up supplies when I get to Welshpool before making my way back to Newtown on the train, and to get my car back home to then drive back to Gloucestershire. In terms of temperature today, it's actually quite pleasant. We've had some, for me, I think, awful weather. It's in Gloucestershire where I live. It got up to about 37. Which is just completely hopeless for doing filming. It's just far too uncomfortable. Oh, we have a big tunnel coming up, which looks really interesting. Have a look at that. But today, set off, it was only 16 degrees, which I found really nice. I think at the moment it's about 19 for walking. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, just in front of we have this oddity. I just checked my OS map. I can't see what it is. Now, it's clearly ex-railway. Severn Way is just down there, underneath the bridge. How do I know it's railway? Well, if you're not sure about the bridge, then the fence definitely gives it away. And here, as if to confirm it, we have an old sleeper. So yeah, I'm not sure, because it looks a bit railway-like, but did the railway go over the top? Or are we actually walking along the old railway track? Oh, I don't know. I can't see anything on the map. It doesn't say disused railway. I mean, that looks like a gate that would have gone down. Perhaps there was a halt here. Got this slope going down, so perhaps the track was here that I'm walking on, actually. That would make sense. Some bits of rubble here as well, so perhaps there was a building or a shelter. And maybe the railway went underneath here. If anybody is from this area watching this, or you have inside knowledge of the railways of Central Wales, please drop a comment below. Now, if we're in any doubt at all, I'm certain that that is an old railway station. Does anybody know what station this was? Perhaps it was that name of the hamlet that I couldn't pronounce. I'll dig into that and put the information in a subtitle below. Now, it says on the sign back there that in 1.7 kilometres, I think it's called Penmarth Nature Reserve. And while we're walking to the nature reserve, we have this delightful wooded section. I can hear the Severn, I can't see it. To my right, somewhere there, the other side of that little paddock. So it is close, we've got it much closer than what we have had it doing the other sections of the Severn Way, apart from, of course, the very first section when we went up to Mount Plimmerman to find the source. Looking back down through the Haffron Forest. But there, yeah, this is lovely. Just thinking, I wonder if that was the railway track out there. Those line of trees. Entirely possible. I don't know. I'll have to dig in that, because I say I'm not that familiar with Wales. It's not an area I cover on my channel in terms of railways or canals, apart from the Monty Canal, which we'll see later. But yeah, just got a silver glimpse of the Severn. Maybe we'll see it again in a bit. Yes, it looks like it's gone on a bend round here, and it is pretty fast flowing. I think the possible reason for that is we had a bit of rain yesterday, but I think further up in Wales there's been a lot more after that very, very dry spell. So it's making its way down through the upper Severn Valley. No, it's so strange. Less than a mile ago we had that fast flowing section. You could really hear the river. But here it's very, very calm and still. It's almost like it's stopped moving, even though it's a short distance from where we were previously. Aha! We have one of these Severn Way signs. I think the last time I saw one of those was in Llanellodes. Which is really good that this is here because of this. Discovered Dolphus Lost Locks. So here at one of the abandoned canals, the lock basin is just in there. As you can see, as I say, they are hoping to reopen the Montgomery Canal. All of it, a lot of it has been restored. I'll tell you more about it as we go on today, but that's fantastic to see that. Obviously it's not in a great condition. It's next to this bridge here, next to one of these locks, and that is amazing to see that. Yes, that's looking a bit worse for wear, isn't it? I don't know if there are plans to restore that or not when this canal reopens at some future point. Also have a bridge in here, but that isn't looking too great either. But it's overgrown there, so you can see it's private, I would think. Yeah, so it's very, very worn. It'd be far too dangerous for anybody to use that bridge these days, I would say. But we know what can be done. We've seen it on the Stroud Water in the Thames and Severn, and indeed other canals. And yeah, so hopefully it will be restored. And there's the other end of that bridge. So there's a train going past. Sorry about the noise with that. And there is the lock basin in there. So it's completely overgrown. Looks like there's another building down here as well. So now that looks like it's remains of a wharf. And you have this wharf-side building, which probably was for storage of grain or other freight materials that were making their way to or from the town of Newtown. Oh, that is fantastic to see that. You don't often see not one but two old canal buildings right next to each other. But the bridge just there. And you can certainly make out the dry bed of the former Montgomery Canal at this point here alongside the Severn Way. It was more like a canalway. We're following the towpath already. And as I say, we will see it in water later in the video. Now at this point the Severn Way continues along there, along the former towpath, but I'm just making a slight detour because in here we have the Montgomery Wildlife Trust and its nature reserve called Pwyl Penarth. We'll just have a quick look. So we've got an information board here. So we've got, looks like it's lots of reed beds. So I'm currently here, that's the former canal and the towpath along there. This is the River Severn and the reserve is in the bits in between. Used to be settling beds for a sewage farm. My old friend Sabrina, Hafron, River Severn, whichever you prefer. Take a good look at that because we won't be seeing much more of the River Severn until we get to Welshpool. We're going to be following more on the watered section of the Montgomery Canal, but yeah, certainly sounding a lot more lively than it was in that really, really strange calm section just about a mile or so back there. But yeah, delightful spot here. So there's the River Severn and there is the canal on our towpath. So we're going to make our way, continue along here. I'm looking out for a suitable spot for lunch. It says something about a canal bridge and perhaps a quay. I think it's a hamlet called, again, excuse the Welsh pronunciation and excuse the helicopter above my head. I think it's pronounced Aberbechen, because the Bechen Brook or the Bechen River joins Hafron at this point, or shortly, just coming up. So I'm hoping there might be a spot there. You never know, there might be a picnic table. Wouldn't that be a bonus? But probably won't be. We'll just have to make do with the next seat. But yeah, so see you in a bit. Some more canal artifacts there. There's an old winch, perhaps a sluice actually. I would say that's probably a sluice to control the level of the water in the canal. And glad to report at this point here there is water in it. Ah, that's rather lovely. So that bridge there has certainly been restored. I think it carries a minor road to a farm over the canal. And as I say, in this part of the canal here, it is in full water. Got this delightful spot here right next to the canal bridge. And it's good to see so much water in the canal here on Montgomery Canal. Here on the Severn Way, so this is a towpath next to the canal, this is the Severn Way. We've now left the River Severn. It's probably about a quarter of a mile to my right, just down that way. That makes sense. I've just decided to spot here, nice big wide seat. I give this one an 8 out of 10. It's really wide so you can put your bag, your camera down on it, tripod and bits and pieces, and kind of spread out, enjoy your lunch, have something to drink and just chill out by the side of the canal. Really enjoying my walk here today on the Severn Way. I'll catch you all again in a bit. So I'll just give you all a kilometre update. I've just checked my OS map. When we started the route today, we've got 24.5 kilometres to do the entire Severn Way on this section, which is one of the longer sections, but as I say, it is one of the flatter sections between Newtown and Welshpool. And just checked the map, and we've got 17.5 kilometres still to go. So we're probably coming up to, what's that, about Coming up to about a third of the way, something like that, just over a quarter of the way. And yeah, it's good terrain. It's starting to warm up a bit, but I've just stopped to have a little bit of lunch. I'll probably stop again, so the timing now is about 1 o'clock, so we're okay for time, I think. I'll probably stop again around maybe 3, see how we go. Coming up ahead, we've got a village called Aberrule, I think that's the pronunciation, and there is a bridge over the River Severn at that point. And so what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a diversion off, should be okay for time, to look at the River Severn at that point and see what we can see of Aberrule before making our way back onto the main trail properly towards Welshpool. And if you're into your canals, surely probably appreciate this bit here. So we've got an aqueduct here. Canal is on the left, and we have the river running underneath. I'm not sure if it's a river or a brook. Just show you, pan over the bridge. So yeah, we're on the aqueduct now. And there it goes down there. There's, I think it's called the Beacon Brook, and just beyond the other side of those trees is the River Severn. So that'll be flowing in right. It's one of the feeder rivers into the River Severn here. But we're going to continue along. Got an interesting bridge here as well. So yeah, the canal is kind of standard canal depth. So you can see the bottom of the canal from here while we're standing on the aqueduct. But yeah, it's water in it, so no sign of leaks, so it's probably been restored to some extent. And we've got an interesting bridge at the end of the aqueduct as well. Bridge number 151, if you're collecting bridge numbers. I think that would originally have been a lift bridge, but it's now been kind of locked fast down, so that would have to be replaced if they reopen it. This section of the canal would be really nice. It's wooded and there's water in the canal, and the canal's nice and wide. It's slightly marked by the fact to the right, just the other side of those trees, which thankfully are screening it somewhat. I think it's a land reclamation depot for, you know, household refuse, recycling, that sort of thing. There's also, looks like a carpenter's yard in there, so all kinds of noise, I'm afraid, so apologies for the noise. If this was nice and quiet, it would be stunning with those line of trees, but let's just enjoy the visuals and pretend the sound. In fact, I'll take the sound off, stick some music up, and I'll just let you enjoy it. Now here through the trees we've got Sabrina again. She's been very, very noisy, going down, well, it looks like, or certainly sounds like some rapid. Sorry, I can't see it through the tree growth, through the leaves at the moment, but yeah, very, very fast flowing. Let's see if we can get any view across there at all. Yeah, you can see it. Wow, wow, yeah, there we go. See that go. Try and focus on that bit. There we go, try and focus on the river. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but you get the idea. She's flowing very, very fast at this point. In fact, I wasn't expecting to see the river again. When I checked my map, this map app, when I was having lunch, I just noticed that it's the Birmingham Anglers Association. They seem to get everywhere. I mean, we're a heck of a long way from Birmingham. I mean, I see them, Birmingham Anglers Association, in Worcestershire and Gloucestershire, perhaps, where you might expect it a little bit more. Wasn't really expecting them in the heart of Wales, but yeah, this is looked after by the Birmingham Anglers Association. I'm not sure if that means the river or the canal. I think it's probably the river, because I don't think there's a lot of life. Let's just see some water boatmen in the canal there, but I don't think there's much fish in it. But yes, the river here is pretty wide. As I say, it's a shame that the trees are there, so I can't get you a shot of that at the moment. This is a very different walk indeed to what we had in Severn Way 4. Severn Way 4 was a challenge. If you are doing the Severn Way, yeah, watch out for that section. You might want to watch that video again if you've not seen it. Go back to it if you're thinking of doing the Severn Way, because it is a real challenge, because you think you've got up one hill and you think, yeah, I'm over that, it's going to be heading down into the Newtown now and it's all be over, and then you look up and you think, oh, another one. There's one after the other after the other. Yeah, it's a real challenge, that, and it's tricky terrain in places as well. But here we are privileged. We have gravel, an actual path that is not covered in either high grass or weeds or worse, and it's flat, or flat-ish. Yeah, it's great. As I say, although it's a longer distance today, I think it's probably about half as much again as what we did on Severn Way 4. It's a lot more of a leisurely walk, and like my guidebook says, I think this is a walk to be savoured. So this is the first working lock section we've seen on the Monty. This has all been restored by the Montgomery Canal Trust volunteers. And it's excellent. We've got, I think it's like metal gates up here, which you don't get to see on the TNS Stroudwater or even the K&A and Worcester Birmingham and all the other ones I tend to feature on my channel. I'm sure that would have been like that originally, whether they've done it to reinforce it, but yeah, you can see the drop here on this lock. So this is bridge number 149. They're restored in 2003. Sorry, I hope you can hear me above the water just leaking through that lock gates there. There was a bit of a leak, sadly. So yeah, it's kind of spouting through, but wow, isn't that fantastic? No, I didn't realise it, but I've only just noticed that we were joined again by the River Severn, because it's so quiet again. It goes through these spells where it's very, very noisy and moving fast, and here it's moving very, very slowly, languidly, making its way to Welshpool. But really strange how it's got these different behaviours depending where you see it, and the canal is just up here. So at this point we've got a canal, road and river and railway all kind of combined. Again, that's the A470. Apologise for any traffic noise. Hopefully it's not too bad at this section. And yeah, another restored lock. Wonderful. I didn't realise so much of this been restored. Now this part, it looks like it's been handed over to the Canals and Rivers Trust. So that's the first Canals and River Trust sign that I've seen, and it's just there. So this is Biles Lock, Loch Bars, Glandower, Cymru. So obviously it's Canal and River Trust in Wales. Oh, wonderful. A little bit murky there. It doesn't look like anything has gone through this bridge. And now, of course, if you're counting, we come to bridge number 148. Now up there, because the A470's got a new bypass, when they put it in, they've allowed the canal to go through, but it's in a horrible little small box tunnel, so it is enough for a narrowboat, but nothing else. There's no towpath there. Looks a bit claustrophobic. It's not very nice. It's low headroom and horrible box shape. So I think we have to sadly just say goodbye to the canal, just briefly, to get to go the other side of the road, and see you on the other way in a bit. Now Sabrina's having one of her fast moments again. I do apologise. I said earlier in the video we wouldn't see the River Severn until Welshpool. I've looked at the map and we do come across Sabrina a few times. There is a section where we do say goodbye, but not yet. You can see the bank erosion there on the opposite bank of the River Severn, and that is obviously going to get worse as time goes on. And it looks like that probably lost a load of soil, perhaps in the winter time. There is erosion going on there. I think that's a caravan park, and also sedimentation, because you can see that island, but obviously that'll be covered up during periods of heavy rain. So yeah, there's Sabrina again, and that's, you can see what's going on here. This is a river in action, erosion and deposition, forming a new route this point here between Newtown and Welshpool. And there's the other end of that ghastly little box tunnel bridge going with the Montgomery going underneath the 470. Oh, that's it's not very wide, is it? And not very aesthetically pleasing either, because you've got these concrete slabs running away there. Obviously it was done on the cheap, as these things are. They know they had to make a statutory obligation to not fill the canal in, but it don't look great. I don't think I'd want to pass through that on a narrowboat. It looks very, very claustrophobic, and the shape of it isn't great at all. It's not like a brick line arch tunnel. Again, I apologise for the road. We should be moving away again. We're going to continue along the towpath here till we get to Abermere. So we've just come to Brynderwen Bridge, the canal bridge. There's also the other bridge which goes over the River Severn. That delight awaits just in a minute or two for you. So yeah, we've got this one here, and thankfully this one has a towpath. Oh, we've got some swans on the other side. Just go have a look at there. This is the Severn Way, so we'll be continuing along here shortly. Got some swans with their cygnets on the other side. Isn't that lovely? Terrific. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's terrific. So there's the Montgomery, and it looks like, sadly, the other side it's a bit overgrown again. Obviously it always needs constant maintenance, but yeah, this is the canal bridge here. But we're going to have a slight diversion. Excuse the road noise. Go back through here, and 500 metres away is the village along here. So we're 5.5 miles from 5.6 miles from Newtown, so about 9k now we've done. 24, 14 to go, but yeah, we've got this terrific bridge here to show you. So like it says, it's the first iron bridge constructed in the county of Montgomeryshire. Building coming up, it's almost like it's having an identity crisis. It looks a bit like a signal box, but it's actually a canal piece. But if you did think it was a signal box, you could be forgiven, because this canal was also owned by the Grand Shropshire Union Canals, and they became part of another railway company. And I think, because I drove past this road when I was staying in Welshpool doing Severn Way 1, I think it has some writing on the other side. Let's go and have a look. But yeah, Shropshire Union Railways and Canal Company General Carriers. That's a fantastic sign, isn't it? Brilliant. Now our towpath is crossed over. So that was bridge number 146. Left that one now. Brindlewin Wharf. Just on the right, we can just still see the brickwork there. I don't want to close up too much because it is a private residence. But you've got the mooring points there. There's another one here. White one there. They have obviously been recently repainted, which is good so you don't trip over them. Quite a long wharf. You can see how long it was. And obviously it was important for providing coal to two of the local villages. 145. We swapped back again, so we're now back on the same side we were once before. Just a bit of a duck here. So we've now got to Glanhaffron Bridge, constructed in 1889. Bridge number 143 if you're counting bridges today. And it looks like we've got a nice wooded section. Sadly, we still have that road. Oh, I just want to give a quick shout out. I've just bumped into one of my subscribers, which is always nice to happen. It happened a few times now. A gentleman called Paul from Cheltenham in Gloucestershire, and he watches my videos, and I just told him I'm doing Severn Way number 5, walking to Welshpool. Really nice gentleman. He's on holiday here in Wales. He's on a cycling holiday on the towpath of the Montgomery Canal. So yeah, really nice to meet you, Paul. A few Canada geese in that field over there. So yeah, we still have the road, I'm afraid. It should disappear shortly. But taking the road noise away, it's still a delightful spot with stunning scenery here next to this canal. Lovely. So another section where they've done another road scheme, very short-sighted road scheme. There's the canal, there's the road, and we have to cross over again, but no canal in between. Stopped by this lovely canal bridge. It doesn't have a number. I think perhaps we've got down to number 137 now, although I have lost count, so don't quote me on that. It's number on this bridge. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about the Montgomery Canals, actually built over a 30-year period by 3 separate canal companies. It was opened in sections from 1796 to 1819, and the original terminus was where we're going to see next. It was a little hamlet called Garth Mill, and in fact it wasn't extended to Newtown until 1821, and the reason of that was to support the woolen industry there. And Newtown is actually 35 miles from the junction with the Llangollen Canal at Franktown, sometimes known as Welsh Franktown or Frankton. We have one more aqueduct at the village of Baru, which is about 3 miles before our final destination today, which is of course Welshpool. I've had a look at the OS map and we're about 10 kilometres off that final destination now. Been really enjoying the walk here today. It was good just to get a little bit of a rest here by the side of this wonderful canal and this nice quiet spot here on the towpath. So we're now at Garthmill. In fact, we've just left the road. Again, one of those dreaded road improvement schemes which has completely obliterated the original course of the canal. We've crossed over the road and met up with the canal again, and good news, there is water in it again at this section here. Sorry, it's gone a bit dark. A few trees around, and we've also got my hat on, which doesn't help. So this was the original point that the canal came to. This was the original terminus when it was built. What was it? As I say, it was 1829 back there, and then it took another couple of years before it continued to the town of Newtown to get the benefit of all that wool trade of the town there. In fact, there's a little plaque here, Garthmill plaque, the limestone line, because apart from Woollan's limestone was the other freight that was carried on this canal, on the Montgomery Canal here in Paris in mid Wales. Now this restored sign showing us now we've walked Newtown 8 miles. Actually we've walked a bit more than that because we haven't walked along the side of the canal all the way. It's probably near 9 or 10. So yeah, we're 27 off Welsh Frankton, or sometimes just known as Frankton, which is where it joins the Llangollen Canal. And it's got an interesting bit underneath, and I'll read it to you while you're looking at that bit. It says Peter B. Thomas, 25th July 1951. I presume that's his date of birth, I'm not sure. Bitten by the bug on the South Oxford Canal in the summer of 1979. Eventual narrowboat owner and sometime restoration volunteer on the Wey and Arun and the Wilts and Berks canals. And the Wilts and Berks, of course, we are starting to cover, and you'll see more of that if you follow my channel next week on July's monthly vlog. Delighted to participate in the preservation of Britain's canal heritage by contributing to the restoration of the Montgomery Canal at Riffael, which is where we are at the moment, in the beautiful Paris countryside. 16th of May 2004. Well, yeah, that was the date that obviously it was restored, and it's lovely to see that restored there. And then, of course, they would have been alongside all of the canal towpath here from Welsh Franktown to where it joins at Llangollen, all the way through to Newtown. And we've got something quite exciting. We're coming up to the Barrow Aqueduct. It's a lot more substantial than the other couple of aqueducts that we've seen. I'll just read this and I'll just show it. I'll see if I can get a shot down below because you can see the scale of it. And it says this aqueduct has 2 spans over the Rhiw River, that's R-H-I-W, and 2 smaller ones over tracks. It was first built of stone, but not well enough, and it collapsed soon afterwards in 1796, to the dismay of its engineer, I bet it was, John Dadford Jr. It had to be largely rebuilt again in 1889 and was clad with blue engineering bricks. Of course, we see those all the time on the former Midland Railway, don't we? Which are stronger than conventional bricks. Yet, more repairs were undertaken in recent years to ensure the safety of the structure and the trough that carries the water. So what I'll do now is I'll walk over it, the top, and then we'll go and look at the bit underneath. So here we go, just walking along the top. The roof seems to be quite a nice place. I was hoping to see if we can get to the church as well. So time-wise, it's about 4 o'clock, and I think I'm about 8 kilometres off Welshpool now. It's about an hour and a half's walking time, but allowing a bit more for filming, of course. So yeah, oh yes, you can definitely see this is a lot more dramatic than the other aqueducts, which were just more little mere channels. It's quite a substantial river, and of course that'll be flowing into Sabrina, into River Severn, just down that way to my right, your left of the screen. I'll just do a pan round here. That's a drop. Yes, so looking at it from this direction, it does indeed look like it could be a Midland Railway bridge we're looking at, and not a canal aqueduct from this direction. I'll just carry on there. It says Museum of Sculpture down this way, so I've no idea what that's about. So I'll just walk into Barrow now. I think we have to go underneath the canal and then make our way round to the right to get up to the church, of which I know nothing, so we'll go and have a look at it together. This is the Museum of Sculpture. Oh yeah, there's the stone bridge over the river. That's lovely. So Barrow seems a nice little village full of black and white houses and cottages. It reminds me of some of the ones in Herefordshire, like around at Prestine and other places. Names I've gone out of my head at the moment, but there's like a 5 or 6 in a circle around the Hay-on-Wye area. It's very, very similar to that, but we're going to head into the church if it's open. We're certainly going to have a closer look of it. Beru, best kept village in Wales. First 1970, first 1972, first 1990, first 1989. So it's obviously won the awards many, many times here. So this is a lovely avenue on the way up to the church here in Beru in Powys in mid Wales. Now sadly the church is locked, but the churchyard is beautiful. Beautiful exterior, the building, and you've got these delightful black and white cottages that surround it. So yeah, it's a very attractive building, village shall I say. So the churchyard continues on down there, so we're going to head down this way, down into the village. So I enjoyed that little sojourn, shall I say, around Beru. That's really good. In fact, if you go into Beru, you don't have to double back yourself back to the aqueduct. There is another route. You just follow the road out signposted towards Welshpool, and then you'll come to a canal bridge, and you can tuck yourself down back onto the Severn way, onto the towpath again. Has a number of things. It has tea rooms there. Has a village shop. Butchers, probably butchers aren't going to be much use to you if you're doing the walk. Village shop, definitely, they sell cold drinks and snacks in there. So say tea rooms, and there's a pub. I think there might have been two pubs. I'll check on that and I'll put the names of them below. Both of them. One might have been a restaurant, that's why I'm hesitating I guess, but both seem to be open. Village shop certainly was. I got a cold drink and a snack in there, so that was good. So yeah, delightful village. Beru, highly recommended. So a stopping off point on the route between Newtown and Welshpool. That's the first kind of place I've seen really where you can kind of stock up on supplies, get something to eat and drink. I haven't really seen anywhere else. Oh, there was one pub when I crossed the road near that old warehouse, not well, about a mile or so north of there. I'll check that out and I'll put that in the description as well, because that again is useful if you're doing the walkers to somewhere. But I don't think it was open in the afternoon, and probably only evenings. We have another lock here. We just went through bridge number 128, so that's 20 bridges since we started this section of the Severn Way alongside the canal, and that we're not that far off Welshpool now. Looks like we've got a winding hole, and obviously if you sure a lot of my people that watch, subscribers that watch my channel probably follow lots of people like Cruising the Cat, Now About Life Unlocked, Wild Out Diaries, etc. And was Holly the Cafe Canal Boat. That's another one that my subscribers watch as well. So yeah, this is a winding hole. Obviously it's for turning the narrow boats, and just through here it's the first boat I've seen on the Monty since we started the Severn Way section here today. So that's Mantis, which they use to help keeping the canal clear, and it's certainly clear at this point here. Have another lock with a lock keeper's cottage and a spillway there as well, of course. And I don't know if this little black hut was an original Montgomery Canal building or not, but it's rather delightful all the same. What a beautiful scene that is, with lockkeeper's cottage and black hut on the right. And this is actually called Brythdeer Lock, Loch Brythdeer. And it's rather beautiful, I think you'll agree. We've got a lot of offspring here. That's quite some brood, isn't it? Just spoke to a couple from Birmingham here on a day trip, walking alongside the Montgomery Canal, and they said these were up here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 8. 8 cygnets there. Well, hold on, I don't know what older cygnets are called actually. They're obviously teenagers. There we go. One happy mum and dad there. Lovely. So this is the Bellon Locks. Has an unusual winding mechanism there to open and close the lock. It also has a small wharf. I know there's some wood piled up there. I don't know the original purpose of that wharf. If I can find that out, whether it was for coal or what goods were brought up to this point. We're about just 2 k's off now, 2 kilometres outside the town of Welshpool, so we're nearly at our destination. And these gates are actually restored in 2018, so comparatively recently, so what, that's just 4 years ago, so that's why they're looking so pristine. Isn't that a picture? Lovely. Just take some shots of that, I think. Apologies for the noise and the traffic. I've now come to bridge number 120, which means we're just entering the town of Welshpool. I'm going to sign off using this camera, my vloggy camera. I'm going to head into a supermarket which is right by the banks of this canal. Just a little bit further on there, we're going into the town, so it's a bit busy. I don't like, as you know, filming around towns. And I will see you by the banks of the River Severn, next to the weir, to finish the video off today. And I'll tell you then about what's coming up on Severn Way 6, 7 and 8. Lots of exciting things, so stick around and I'll see you in a sec. We've made it back to Sabrina. I went into Welshpool town centre, got some supplies, drinks, some snacks, sat down by the canal there. In fact, what I intend to do in Severn Way 6 is show you a little bit more of Welshpool. In fact, I did a little bit when I did Paris Capital, and I'll include some photos that I took then. We're here back, and I'll put in a clip in now, where I'm standing on a bridge over the river. I'm about half a mile's walk from the railway station, and shortly I'll be walking back to the railway station to get my train back to Newtown, to get my car so I can drive back home. It's been a long day today. I have really enjoyed it. The weather's been on our side. It's the first dry day we've had doing the Severn Way, dry all day, but a comfortable temperature, not too hot, not too cold, not too windy and not wet. So you can't ask for any better than that really. It's quite rare this part of the world to get such ideal conditions. I hope you enjoyed the tour today. Just before I say goodbye, just wanted to say what's going to happen in the next couple. So Severn Way 6 will be going, starting from here to Welshpool. I'll probably catch a train to Welshpool. And then we're going to make our way to, now my mind's gone blank, I had it in my head. It's something green, Care Green. It isn't Care Green, but I put it along the bottom now. I can't remember the name of it. That's where we're going to, because that's the border between England and Wales, where the River Severn is. So that's where we're going to be next time. I'll then catch the train to Shrewsbury and then the train back home. Oh, sorry, the bus from there to Crew Green. That's the one, Crew Green. I'll catch the bus from there to Shrewsbury and then Shrewsbury back to Gloucestershire. That's my plan. In Severn, it'll be from Crew Green to Shrewsbury, and then we'll obviously be probably in Shropshire. We're really coming on now, so I feel we're making progress. So we've now finished far. I feel we'll make good progress from where we started at Mount Plinlimmon to get to here in Welshpool. And so 5 today, 6, 7 gets us to Shrewsbury. Number 8, I will probably just solely focus on Shrewsbury. That won't actually be so much of a walking one. We've got 3 key cities. We've got Shrewsbury, Worcester and Gloucester that lie on the River Severn. Each of them have amazing history. They have castles, cathedrals, brilliant churches, museums, ancient parts, ancient bridges as well. And I'd like to spend a whole episode of the Severn Way taking you around Shrewsbury because I think it warrants enough just on its own, as will Worcester and Gloucester. I hope you enjoyed it today. If you did, please consider sharing this video onto your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any other social media, so that perhaps your friends and family, relatives that may be interested in this walking the Severn Way, they get to see the video as well. I'd be really pleased if you can do that. Failing that, perhaps a like, a comment or a subscribe, and if you subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube. Will tell you when Severn Way 6 uploads, or indeed any other of my other videos on my channel, West Country Wanderings. Hope you enjoyed it today. Take care of yourselves, look after yourselves, and I hope to see you on the channel again very, very soon. All the best. Bye bye.